and they'll post it up on Facebook, and 9 out of 10 times they'll tag me in the post, and it'll get my attention, and I will try my best to get out and make sure that we have staff members or somebody go clean this site up. So finally we had a site that popped up. It was the one that I posted on Facebook, and my staff, I said, when you get done cleaning this, would you please send me a picture showing me, you know, the before and after shot. And they cleaned that desert and restored it to such natural beauty that I just had to say something. My original intent was to really say thank you to my staff members for getting out there and doing it, and the volunteers that help with that. But it really came out in more of a frustrating thing of, you know, stop illegally dumping in the desert. It's just stop it. There is no excuse for it. And Eric, you know, there's been some back and forth conversations about the trash service that's out here, but it doesn't matter if you have good trash service, bad trash service, or whatever it is. There's just no excuse for loading up a truck.
So their excuse is that the trash service isn't as consistent or as good as it should be? That's their excuse?
Well, that's some of the arguments that have been going on Facebook. And I just have to say that we have real good trash service up here, and I actually have educated people on a lot of services that they didn't even know we have, like 12 free dump days a year. You can use the Rio Rancho. If you're a Rio Rancho resident, you can use the waste management landfill 12 times a year for free, and that's about
I had no idea of that, by the way. I had no idea.
Right, that was something that I personally spearheaded negotiating into the contract renewal, along with electronics recycling. They'll pick that up at your doorstep, and that's for free. That's included in your bill. They will pick up hazardous materials. That's at your doorstep, and recycle those and dispose of those properly. That's included in your bill. And they'll do bulky curbside pickup. I think there's some nominal charges for that, but they'll still pick that stuff up right at your front doorstep. So there is glass recycling, but you do have to take that to the landfill to get that recycling done. So there's a lot of services that a lot of people aren't aware of, and that's why I say there's just no excuse. And look, I'm not thinking that it's just Rio Rancho residents that are doing this. I'm sure that we have some people that are possibly coming out from other areas, you know, and possibly, you know, dumping this garbage out as well. But as you could see in the Facebook post, you couldn't see my analytics, but within 24 hours, Eric, that post reached 25,000 people, because everybody in this city is passionate about stopping this systemic issue of people just going out and dumping in the desert.
So what's the worst thing you've seen out there?
Oh, we've seen everything from, you know, chemicals that have been dumped out on the ground, bottles of chemicals that, you know, that have leached into the ground, and you get into some severe environmental issues with that if some of those chemicals were to actually reach your your water table. And, you know, and then we've seen everything from electronics to, you know, cell phones, pallets, and but, you know, and even pharmaceuticals, obviously, in some of these dump sites. And that becomes a real danger to the people cleaning these sites up, because you know, you could cut yourself, you could get impaled by a needle. There's so many different things that could go on that become a danger to those out there cleaning it. And when you push it out into the dumps, you know, push it out into the desert, you could push it out the same as the dump. And even if you're not a Rio Rancho resident, let's say you're Sandoval County, you can use the Sandoval County landfill for $5, Eric. So it's not like
I know
this.
it's fine. I'm always surprised at how cheap it is to dump stuff. Like, it's really not a huge outpouring of cash, you know what I mean?
Right. And so the arguments of this, that, or the other just don't stick when it comes to making a choice that you're going to drive out. And actually, you have to drive out in the desert quite a ways to kind of conceal yourself, to make sure you don't get caught. So it actually takes more effort to try to hide yourself in the desert while you're offloading a trailer, hoping you don't get caught and get cited with a $500 fine. And you know, and as opposed to just going to the dump, waiting in line for a few minutes, and getting on through. So yeah, there's just, like I said, there's just no excuse for it.
And Greg, look, on the fine, are you looking in the future? I think 500 is too cheap.
I do too, but
Like,
I do too, but that's kind of a statutory limit. What I'd like to see, Eric, is more people, instead of the fine, being stuck with community service hours where they have to go out and spend a certain amount of community service time cleaning up these dump sites.
The irony, Greg.
Yes.
The irony.
Yes.
Hey, let me take a call real. Okay, when we come back, I'm gonna let Gregg Hull wrap up his final thoughts. What's the worst? Is the desert a dumping ground? 243-3333. What's the worst thing you've seen dumped out in the desert? Eric Strauss joining you this afternoon, Rancho, to go to the dump. 12 free days. Wouldn't it make sense to just wait until the dump is open, go on one of the free days, and get rid of your stuff?
Well, and
wouldn't that make sense?
That's the thing, Eric, is they can go on any day the dump is open at any time. I think the only day the waste management landfill is actually closed is Sundays, and Saturdays it's open, I think, from 8 to noon, but the rest of the week they can go anytime they're open. So this is a non-restrictive, no blackout period use of the dump. Now, the only thing is your free dumps don't carry over month to month, so they don't stack. You have to use it within the 30-day period that it's allocated. But if you're taking a single load out, and that's what we find. We really find single loads of stuff. Like the post I put up the other day, that was clearly somebody had cleaned out a house, and it was a lot of paper material that would have easily gone into a waste management bin. It did not need to go into the desert.
It's so ridiculous to me. I can even see the dangers of volunteers cleaning this stuff up. And thank heavens for those volunteers. How much do you think the city of Rio Rancho has wasted on illegal dumping?
Oh, I'm going to say, it gets into I'm going to say easily into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. When you think about the labor and the time and the effort, I don't have the exact number, but we have to take trucks out, the equipment, fuel, and cleaning equipment out to these dump sites. Then once it's in the truck, we have to take it to the landfill and dispose of it properly. Before we take it to the landfill, some of the rubble is inspected to try to find if we can identify where it originated from. And if we can identify and prove where it originated from, we're going to try to issue a citation back to wherever it originated from. So if we can find that evidence, we're going to act on it. Unfortunately, these sites don't commonly have any type of identification in them.
Wow, have you busted anybody through that?
We have, and it's and we send out the citation. They have to go through court, and they have to go through the whole process. But the numbers are few. I have to say, because it's hard to identify who's doing it.
Yeah, I would assume that. 243-3333.